everyone. This is Tushali from Mask, and this is our series of Humanity Makers, wherein we connect with people who are working on ground socially to bring the change and break the barriers of society. And on this, we have Tanisha Pandit with us today from Ritva Foundation. Hi, Tanisha.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm completely fine. What about you?
I am fine too. Thank you so much. So, before we start, let me just give a bit introduction about what Ritva is. So, basically, Ritva is a foundation that works on destigmatizing menstruation, and they are basically working on having a safe and sustainable menstruation practice. Rest of it, I think we'll hear it from Tanisha. So, Tanisha, one thing firstly which I wanted to know is that how it all started with Ritva. Like, what was that first thing you initiated, and how it all began?
Well, I was in ninth standard when I realized that I'm very much into social work and I have a lot of interest in it. And I started working with my school friends. We used to visit slums, and we used to see people. We used to talk to them, and we used to realize like what their problem really was. Um, like after working for a lot of time, I realized that I'm very much sensitive towards issues which are related to women, and menstrual hygiene was one of them. Right now we can see a lot of people coming up and talking about it, but when I was in 9th and 10th standard, I hardly saw anyone talking about it and coming up and doing something for it. So yeah, this is how I started. We started with a group of like 4 5 students. We were an informal group. We used to talk to people. We used to organize street plays, and we used to do a lot of activities. But then somehow I started, realizing that what I really want to do for the society, and we realized that we should go ahead and we should register our own organization. So this is how we came up with this idea of registering it, and now we are an NGO. Well, to be very honest, the entire journey from an informal group to NGO was amazing, was very beautiful. But I've realized that there are a lot more things on which we should, focus. So yes, I am looking for more ways. I am growing myself. I'm learning a lot of other things. I'm realizing what my surrounding is all about, what my environment is all about, and what problems are really there and how we can fix this.
Okay, that is perfect. But I just want to ask one thing that in Ritva, like, how do you guys work? Like the kind of working, the kind of projects you guys pick up. So how is that process working?
Well, what since like I started since the time I started like doing social work and all, I realized that donating and meeting people and donating something is not something making them independent, right? Is not something making them happy for a very long period of time. If we go and donate something to someone, it's like just for that particular time that they're happy, they're comfortable with it. But after that, they again switch to their normal routine, normal life, which is very pathetic. And when it comes to sanitation and menstrual hygiene, it's literally pathetic. So what I realized that we should go ahead and we should train people to make their own reusable pads. So we are working with a lot of college societies, and we have our own societies in a lot of different colleges where the students, they are working and they are doing a lot for for this cause, and they themselves organize campaigns and a lot of things for like asking people to go for sustainable menstrual products.
Right, that makes sense. So like while I was myself going through your website and all the information that was out there about the kind of work you do, so we got to know that basically the waste management that takes place with the sanitary napkins and all is a big issue. So what do you think is the major problem as a general in society, or we are lacking, and how Ritva is working on it?
Well, I lately realized that we used to talk about women who used to use uh, cloth while menstruating.
Yeah, right.
We say that that was a bad practice, but that wasn't a bad practice, because before sanitary pads, obviously women used to live. They used to be healthy. There were women who were very privileged, and they used to use those cloth. But then too, they were very healthy when their vagina was like literally very healthy. They had a good vaginal health basically. So the problem was the way women used it, right? They used to just use it, they used to wash it, and then they used to just somewhere hide, and they never let it to dry in some proper sunlight or something.
Yeah.
But the problem was like they were not aware of that just because of the taboo thing, right? So the proper way to use those cloth pad was that they should dry it properly so that all the bacteria can get killed at that time, at that particular time after the use, and they can use it again. Or they always had an option of throwing it away and using another one, right? So this is how a cloth pad should be used. So this is how I started working, that instead of going for sanitary pads, let's go for like the biodegradable ones, or the pads which are like literally made of cloth, because waste management is genuinely a problem in our country. People don't even know that this is a biomedical waste and it should be treated in a different manner, right? They just throw it somewhere, animals go and they consume it, at times they die because of it. There are so many problems related to this normal sanitary pads which we purchase from market, right? And just because our government is not into like a proper waste management, we cannot blame it, and we cannot continue that bad practice, right? So
Right.
we have a lot of other alternatives. We have reusable pads, we have menstrual cups. If people are not comfortable with that, they can switch to biodegradable pads which can be treated properly. They can be put in a separate box which is there behind that kachra wala gadi. If you have seen a separate box for diapers, for sanitary pads and other biomedical wastes. So we are responsible to make sure to segregate that particular waste and throw it in a proper way. This is how we should look into it. I personally feel that instead of blaming government for everything, let's just go ahead, take a step, because obviously one particular step when it comes to sanitary pads wala waste is going to make a very big change, because a single woman produces 3 tons of plastics just because she menstruates in an entire lifetime. Right. So this is how we should go ahead about it.
All right, that is very right. So you mentioned about biodegradable pads and all of these things. So what I'm assuming is like you guys go on ground and you teach people how to make their own pads. So is there a DIY way to do it?
Yes, exactly. There is a way. We have posted a video on Instagram too about that, so you can check that.
Yeah, we'll surely check that out. Okay. Moving on, Tanisha. I personally was going when I saw your website. There was one saying that menstruation is not a women issue. It's a human issue. That's
Exactly.
so how did this thought strike? Because personally, when I read it, I felt like, oh, that's actually right. It's basically menstruation is just a normal human body process, like breathing, like respirating, or anything, right? So menstruation is similar to that. So can you just comment on how that thought struck you?
Well, the thing is that, just because it wasn't considered a normal issue, like it used to be considered as something which is very different, which happens to women, it makes her impure, and anything, like anything which, somehow made that look very dirty amongst people. I personally feel that because of those problems, women never came up with their problem. And this is how this menstrual hygiene wala problem came up, right? If I was comfortable, I would have gone to my father to tell him that I have a problem because of my periods. If I'm not menstruating since 3 months or any like for a very long period of time, and if I'll go up easily and talk to him about it, it would have been very easier for me to tackle all the problems related to my vagina and my reproductive health, right?
Right.
And this has led to a lot of problems, like obviously because of not normalizing it, it has been leading to a lot of different problems. And I personally feel that if we normalize these, 70 to 80% of our problems will get fixed. So people should consider it to like as a human problem, not, and actually it is not a problem that just because they have created a problem, we have mentioned it as a problem. But I personally feel that it is not a problem. If nahi hota, then
Body
it has been a
process.
problem. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you should consider it as something normal.
Okay. So Tanisha, like you told me that back in ninth, the situation was very different, and today it's different. So what is the major difference you see? Like I believe that stigmas and myths around menstruation still exist. Like even though I call myself, I'm from a very well family and they're very well educated about these things and very normalized about it, but still more or less I sometimes feel there are some myths that are being attached to it, or some stigmas are there. So do you see a difference in that?
Yes, obviously, like when I was in ninth standard, I still remember I used to be very insecure about like any of my male friends touching my bag because I always had a sanitary pad in it, right? But now I can go up and I can normally talk to my friend that I have my cycle going on. Please behave yourself. Don't talk to me don't tell me anything which is rubbish, because I'll probably get into my mood swings again, and just don't do that. That is something very normal. I can talk to anyone about it very openly. I can go ahead. I can say that I'm like going through it. Just stop it. or like whatever I want that person to do for me because of my cycles, right? So what I personally feel that things have been changed when it comes to normalizing it. Like nowadays, men are also coming up and talking about it. To be very honest, a lot of other activists, a lot of other advocates are coming up on this platform talking about it openly. There are a lot of other ways too, because I still remember ये tampons and menstrual cups was something मैंने देखे भी नहीं थे, and tampons was something मुझे तो पता भी नहीं था कि होता क्या है when I was in ninth. And nowadays my sister, she's in 8th standard, 8th or 10th standard, I guess. Yeah, she knows about everything. And a lot of changes have been taken place. Like I have seen so many males working with me in my own organization. They talk about it openly, and that was something like a dream for me. So yeah, changes have.
But that's a change. Like I think is maybe a change that you see. We see at our level, but I am sure that you guys work on a lot of lower levels as well. So do you see change there? Like are people still very tabooed about it, or like are they willing to talk about it, or are they willing to change about it? Basically,
Well, to be very honest, there has not been a like very dynamic change with those people.
all right.
It has been a dynamic change around me, obviously, because I have seen people changing their attitude because of me while talking about periods, to be very honest. But well, when it comes to rural areas or slums, women have although like preferred to switch to sanitary pads, but they still don't know about what reproductive health, what menstrual hygiene exactly is. For them, it is a luxury. Trust me. For them, using a sanitary pad is a luxury.
All right. That's a big step itself.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. So same when you go for like slum visits and rural visits, so do you see that like when you talk about these things, so are people comfortable around you? Do they sit, do they listen to you, or they just say jao jao mat karo baat aise or something? Do you guys face that kind of thing, or like it's fine, okay, come talk, we'll sit, we'll listen, it's that way?
Well, to be very honest, they used to treat us like, someone jo bahar se hai main. They say like we
Yeah.
see someone from like, some foreign country and we get very happy like they're in our country. Wow. So that the same way they used to treat us, like, bahar se aaye hain, they're very educated, they're very modern, just talk about it. They used to be very enthusiastic and excited about it. And like, I have always received a lot of positive energy from those people. I don't know why. A lot of people go on fields and they, complain about it, ki aisa hua, waisa hua. But fortunately, I've always received positive energy from those people and positive response. In fact, initially we are supposed to make them comfortable while talking to them. As ekdam se jaake we don't talk about like their problems. We make them comfortable. We make them really realize ki haan, hum log bahar se aaye hain and we are going to talk about it specially, or we are here to solve all your problems. तो वो बहुत ज़्यादा inquisitive होते हैं and they ask about a lot of questions. ऐसा नहीं है कि like they shoo us away.
Okay, that is, I am very happy to hear that if that's the case, because I thought that maybe they're still very hesitant, at least in talking. Okay, menstruation, again coming back to the menstruation, do you think that menstruation in general is such a big taboo because it has to deal with education? Because here at Mask we believe that education plays a very important role. Now education is not just the academic education we get, but it's the holistic education, or maybe the extra education, the extra means of education that we get to part. For example, in schools, in the way the things go on, like I know today things are very different, but still there is a difference ki, theek hai. If in fact I remember in my school there was a separate lunch break for girls and separate lunch break for boys. Not even lunch breaks were common. So do you think education has played a very important part in making this a taboo? And do you also believe that education can be the only way to remove this as a taboo?
Well, I feel that education and parents both have played a very major role in making it a taboo.
Parents,
for sure.
Yeah.
I still remember when my sister started menstruating, my mother told her not to talk about it with my father. And the next question was from her कि मम्मी इतना बड़ा problem हो गया मेरे साथ. This is something very major in my life, and how can I not make my father a part of it?
Very, very, absolutely right. That's
exactly. And she was just in fifth standard, and I literally like still think about it, and I make fun of her कि कितनी बेवकूफ थी तुम ऐसे बोल रही थी. But at times I literally feel कि हाँ तुमने सही बोला. अगर तुम नहीं बोलती तो शायद I would have never thought about it. I would have never thought about what Ritva is right now. there were a lot of changes which happened just because of that statement from her. But I personally feel that mothers play a very major role in normalizing it and making it a taboo. And along with that, obviously education, क्योंकि हमारे घर पे चीजें normalize नहीं होती तो हमारे teachers डरते हैं, they are afraid कि स्कूल में कोई ऐसा chaos ना हो जाए amongst both of these genders, ताकि उन्हें प्रॉब्लम हो. सो ऑब्वियसली ये एक मेजर रोल है दोनों साइड का, सिर्फ एक साइड को हम रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं बोल सकते, डेफिनेटली नेवर. But I personally feel that my school played a very major role in normalizing it, because in my life, everything, whatever happened with me, was because of my school. I started the work from school itself. I used to talk about it openly in the school itself. So obviously, yes, it was like something very normal in my school, and I'm grateful for that.
Right. So education and family is basically playing a very, very vital role in it.
Exactly.
Okay. If like via this platform and we are discussing, so any two top prior things that you feel that as in general we should all keep in mind that can help at least to bring a change in the kind of process and the kind of thinking everyone is processing through menstruation? Like what kind of two things, at least two major things that we all can keep in mind that can at least change our thinking towards menstruation in general?
Well, the very major problem from my society is that they are never understanding. Okay. If I am switching, for example, if I'm switching from one of my job to another, they will come up and they will say कि कैसी बेवकूफ लड़की है. She was like earning a lot of money from that, and she just switched it, and she's preparing for another competitive exam जिसमें 90% chances भी नहीं है कि होगा. Right? She's taking such a major risk, and oh my god. But they never know what all problems I was going through while working in that particular company. Right? कभी उस मेरे शूज में स्टेप इन करने का नहीं सोचते. Nobody ever like thinks about it. In fact, हमारी family members भी, out of 100 times, they just step into our shoes for just like 30 to 40 times maybe. They never see things from our perspective, right? जब हम लोगों के पर्सपेक्टिव से चीजें देखना स्टार्ट कर देंगे, like when it comes to their problem, obviously अपने में अपने से ही देखना है, but when it will be about their problem and when we'll start looking from their own perspective, I think most of our problem, not even just menstruation, most of our problem will just completely change. This is what I personally feel.
I think that the single thing that you said has said a lot, that at least we start thinking from someone else's perspective. Like if I am a female, so I maybe at times feel maybe a perspective of a different gender, that how might they perceive things or how they are going through. So I think if we all can do that, that would be a very good, and that would be a great society in general. So all right, thank you so much, Anisha. Thank you so much. This was so great, and thank you so much for doing this again. Thank you.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you so much for like inviting me for this amazing podcast.